Hey everyone, I'm Karen Walby Solomon, and welcome to What's IGN Crushing On, IGN Africa's official entertainment podcast. I'm your host, and I'm joined as always by my producer and editor Rebecca Barches. So this is a show where we discuss all things entertainment and pop culture with a new guest every week. We bring recommendations, news, and fun facts, sometimes touching on the more serious issues surrounding these topics. Hi everybody, welcome to Season 3 of What's IGN Crushing On. I'm Karen Walby Solomon and I'm your host. And we're here to talk about what's hot in pop culture. I'm joined by Rebecca Barches and Leanne Lakshmi Phillipson. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi.
Oh,
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Excited.
How are you?
I'm okay. I think this week has been extremely difficult for everybody in South Africa. The country has been through immense turmoil, and I think a lot of us are feeling a little bit stressed and anxious.
I think it's this week was a testament to the power of switching off when you need to protect your mental health. So I, other than making sure my family in Durban were okay, I think that's kind of, I was aware of what was going on, but I also spent a lot of time just not being online because it was just getting a bit much. So
Yeah, and I think it's important to you find a balance between being informed as to what is happening so that you can know how to help others and what to work towards, saving or supporting. And also, as you said, to know when to switch off so that you can protect your mental health. It's a lot. It definitely is. And like I think the most important thing during this time is to just be compassionate, support, elevate voices that are doing the most on the ground to support the people of KZN, the people of Gauteng, and to donate. If you can donate, give to organizations like Give to the Givers, who have like a proven track record. We've been doing the most to just help the people that need it and give support. And there's also so many people. I've seen people create packages from Cape Town, from the other provinces, to send to KZN and Gauteng.
like people hiring full on trucks so that they can load it and help out. And I think I think that's always what's incredible is as much as there is a lot of distraction and whatever, South Africans come together when we have to. We pull together when we have to. And so that's been nice to see towards the end of this week. It was something to at least end on a slightly
and
positive note.
just gotta hope that things get better. I mean, for various reasons. But yeah, like I've also had a pretty tough week personally. Those who follow me on social media know that my sister is in a hospital, and we're just hoping for the best. Um, but yeah, like the one thing that has sort of, I'm not going to say quell, but a positive thing for South Africans was that Tusim Mbudu, the star of the Underground Railroad, was nominated for Television's Critics Association Award. And I love Critics Awards because I feel like, it's like they very much, it's people that watch the shows. Like there's people that are like, well, making the effort. Unlike other award shows where people just nominate who everyone else nominate, or they don't necessarily make the time. And the TCAs also, what they do is they don't separate the categories into genders. So like if you nominated for best dramatic performances, males and females in that category, and she was one of the few that made it in.
Oh, that's really
So
cool.
so I thought that was pretty amazing, even though she was snubbed for an Emmy award, which
I mean, Emily in Paris made the Emmys, and like, I don't understand it. But she made one, they made, because that series was nominated earlier in the year as well, right?
talking
Also
about Emily in
in the
Paris,
comedy
I was nominated
category.
for a Golden Globe.
Yes. And I was so confused because I watched it because I love trashy things every now and then. Not not worth a nomination. It's so mediocre. I don't know why it would be nominated as a
I
comedy. Do people think it's trying to be satire? Like that was my question watching it. Like this is the only explanation I can think of. Do people think that her being a dumb American
I
is
don't know if
trying
it's
to
just
be
like a
satire?
lot of people watched it. I don't know if that's why, because I mean it was very popular. So I don't know if maybe that. But what I mean is like I'm very disappointed that I didn't watch it, so I can't comment on the quality of it. But I'm very disappointed that Superstore didn't get a nomination for its final the COVID season. It was so brilliant.
I haven't seen the
Guys,
COVID
it was
season
like
yet. No spoiler.
imagine like a big
No
shop
spoiler.
in the middle, like during COVID, and like just pure comedy. Like the character that you think will be the first person to get COVID, and like them telling people in the shops to put their masks up, and like the way that they're dealing with it. It was just so brilliantly done that I was like so sad.
Is this a reality TV show? What is this?
No, it's a comedy
Oh,
series. You should watch it, Rebecca. You would love it. Actually, like
what?
put this
Could you
down.
tell me what's it
Superstore.
called?
Superstore.
Superstore.
Yeah.
Okay, not a docu series. Not a. Okay, it's
No,
just
it's like
a.
a
Okay,
pure comedy. It is
okay.
no,
About the
you would
pandemic. That seems a little tone deaf, or no?
no, it's like it's actually like it's really what people in a shop would
Would be
experience.
going through.
Yeah, because they are
I
the
think,
people that have to be working during COVID.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Essential workers.
but
So,
I
so
think from the beginning, Superstore was really good at doing that because although it was a comedy, it chose to address very serious issues. So
mm,
like, but in a very comedic
Mm.
way,
yeah,
but in a way that still provoked thought. So, like, I think it's the end of season 4, season 5, where Mateo gets taken away by ICE because
mm,
it deals with immigration issues in America. And like, there's heart rending moments, but like, mostly it's just complete fun and ridiculousness. But then the way they handle serious topics is, yeah,
it's a
is very
way
skillfully
like
done.
like how blue collar people are in America. Like that is how it is. Like people, you are in your 30s and you live with a roommate because you work in a store. Like it's not like
Yeah.
in other shows where like the person will work in like a normal shop, like they are shop assistant, but they live in like this huge ass two
Yeah.
bedroom apartment. But
Yeah.
like so it's very realistic, and it's very like it deals with issues that people like that would deal with, but also shows that just because your life is in six figure rich person doesn't mean that you don't have good times, you don't fall in love, you don't have
Mm.
funny moments with your colleagues. So it's
Yeah.
it's
There's
it's
always
really
a
really well
story.
done. But yeah, I feel like that should have been nominated. I'm not saying in Emily in Paris's place. As I said, I've never watched it. It could be really good, and just everybody else is wrong. But yeah, I was sad about that. I was sad about Tusum Voodoo not getting her nomination. There were lots that I was happy with, and I've probably spoken about it. I wish that Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist had gotten more nominations.
Yep.
Um, I don't understand Hamilton. So I love Hamilton, but
Never seen
Hamilton
it.
is a play that they put on Disney Plus, and now people are getting nominated for acting awards. So they didn't put the
What?
play on for it to be filmed. The play was, I mean,
Yeah.
they did, but I mean, it was a play on Broadway, and then now people are getting nominated for this play they did 3 years ago, and I'm like,
Oh
because
gosh.
like best like TV movie. I'm like, no, guys, you won your Tony
Yeah.
Awards for
But
this.
it wasn't created specifically for TV, so should it be falling in that category?
I don't know how this works, and I am confused, and I don't think it's right because I feel like other people could have been nominated in their place, and
Someone
Mm.
explain. I
and
mean, though props for those that did get nominated that we were expecting. So like Mayor of Easttown, The
mm,
Crown, Queen's Gambit, super chuffed about that one.
I may destroy
Um,
you. Best show I watched last year, hands down. Not even gonna.
I
Still haven't seen that.
yeah, me either.
I, that I was very happy about. My bae Conan O'Brien got a nomination
My bae.
against Trevor Noah, and I don't know.
I mean, it's deserved. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, Conan should be the one nominated. He's been
Exactly.
in it for decades,
Shame.
that young man.
The young man. And yeah, and like the Britney series was nominated. So I don't know if you guys saw her Instagram post that she posted last night, late last night, after I told you
No.
guys what.
I mean, shots fired. She literally just came out for everyone, and it's so bizarre because, I mean, other than this recent spate, she's generally used a social platform not to mention things, like it's been
Yeah, but
free of any of the
she hasn't
drama.
had access to a social platform. So like that
Oh,
she
wow.
sends like her pictures and her
Videos.
captions to like a company, and they sort of like the conservative people go through it and say what she can say and what she can't say. Then they post it
Wowzers.
for her. But it seems like she's had access. So Rebecca, have you seen this? Can I read it out to you?
No, yeah, tell me.
So she posted this picture called "Take Me as I Am, or Kiss My Ass, Eat Shit, and Step on Legos." And you can see.
Britney!
And then she for those of you who choose to criticize my dancing videos, look, I'm not going to be performing on any stages anytime soon with my dad handling what I wear, say, do, or think. I've done that for the
Oof.
past 13 years. I'd much rather share
Oh,
videos,
no.
yes, from my living room, instead of on stage in Vegas, where some people were so far gone they couldn't even shake my hand and ended up getting a contact high from weed all the time, which I didn't mind, but it would have been nice to be able to go to the mother effing spa. And no, I'm not going to put on heavy makeup and try on stage again and not be able to do the real deal with remixes of my songs for years and begging to put my new music in my show for my fans. So I quit. I don't like that my sister showed up at the award shows and performed my songs to remixes. My so-called support systems hurt me deeply. This conservatorship killed my dreams. So all I have is hope, and hope is the only thing in this world that is very hard to kill. Yet people still try. I didn't like the way the documentaries bring up humiliating moments from my past. I'm way past all that, and I've been for a long time. And for women who say it's weird, okay, then she goes on about like people saying it's weird that she believes in fairy tales, but it's just like it's
Okay.
like it's like shame. Like, can you imagine how much pent up rage she must have in her?
Yeah.
Because that's a lot
13 years.
for one
She
statement.
said.
I also find it interesting that she's calling out the documentaries when the documentaries are what raised so much awareness about her situation.
Mm,
And to a certain extent, it feels like the documentaries helped turn the tide
yeah.
because
Mm.
it became such a known, like it became public knowledge for
Yeah.
so many people.
I
Mm.
agree too. Like, between that and like all the videos and stuff, like the TikToks and stuff like that, I do, and the podcasts that they've done on it, like I do feel like a cause, like a movement. Because before it was just her dedicated fans like trying to get her out of this.
Mm.
But I suppose it's also like she's not removed from the situation yet, so she's still thinking of it as in they're just bringing these things back up again, and like you know what I mean.
Yeah. Do you know, for a long time I thought that this was fake news. I thought that it was like a publicity stunt, that they were using the hashtag Free Britney to, get her back into the industry somehow. But I didn't realize it's quite in depth, the whole thing, like the BBC article you sent us, about how her father had control over essentially her body,
Yeah.
like her IUD,
Mm.
Yeah.
and smaller things like taking away coffee, or what's the other thing?
It's like what color her cabinets could be in her kitchen. I'm like, it's such
Yeah.
bizarre. And I think that's like what's so confusing for a lot of people who might be following the story is there's just so much he said, she said. So
Mm,
she wants her dad removed from the conservatorship, but technically he took a step back a couple of years ago. And so there's a different person that's in charge, but she's okay with the new person, but she's only after her dad. Like it feels very murky, but it's because I
yeah.
think everything is still being investigated and uncovered. And so this will be a case to probably, and a story to watch for a while to see how it all plays out because, yeah.
I think a big win was that what happened was that she had been given a court appointed lawyer before,
Mm,
but now she's been able to hire her own
she's got
lawyer.
her own lawyer.
So I think
Mm,
that like even though she made this big speech in court, like the judges they couldn't take her father off the conservative or take her out the conservative because she didn't actually lay a complaint
Apply for that,
to
yeah.
to do that. So I think that now with a new lawyer, they can hopefully advise her to do these things. So I don't think she wants to be into it. Because her manager resigned because her manager said she's essentially quit the music industry. She doesn't want to be a musician anymore. She's done.
Mhm.
So what is he managing?
Yeah.
So I think that she wants to be out of it, and I don't think she
Yeah.
knows, or she's been given it the proper advice as to how to do it until now that she has her own lawyer, maybe that she can sort herself out and do what's best for her.
Yeah. I'm also wondering about when they initially put this conservatorship, as I pronounce it, in place. Like, surely there should have been limitations in the what I guess the contract of it. Like, yeah.
So
But this is, sorry, the segue. This is what's so wild about, what was that, the new movie that got released with
I
Rosamund
care a
Pike?
lot.
I Care a Lot. And like, I think that's the first time I understood how messed up the American, I don't know if we're allowed to swear on this podcast, how fucked up
I
the
think we
American
are.
system is. Because with I Care a Lot, it's very similar to the conservatorship thing, where you can place people under guardianship or whatever, and they literally have the power to do whatever they
Yeah,
want. Like the
that's a California
lack
law.
of oversight. Yeah, the lack of oversight in those things is part of the
Yeah.
problem, because there aren't enough people to oversee what's
Yeah,
happening. Are people following the rules? Are they doing what they're
Yeah.
supposed to do? And so you can kind of get away with
with
being
anything.
abusive or taking advantage of a situation.
So the conservative law basically says that you aren't in the right mind to make decisions for yourself. So they're giving up the decision to somebody else. So
Mm,
it usually goes to older people who are like certainly like going through like dementia, that kind of thing. But
yeah.
but also it affects a lot of disabled people. I read this article
Mm.
in Bitch Media about about a disabled person's journey, and like how like so many times the ownership goes into them, and and especially when it comes to controlling their body. So they usually don't want them to be able to fall pregnant, like people who are in charge of them. And the Britney situation can be like, it's very similar to a lot of disabled people situations. So it's
Yeah.
like reading articles by them, like it's opened my eyes, especially in California where this law is so right. But I mean, I'm sure it's in other places in America as well. But I know that and yeah, that's a problem that a lot of them they are saying with the Free Britney movement, is that why are people given so much control over you? It shouldn't be okay.
Yeah. And that's my question about this thing of limitation. So surely by the age of 18 is one limitation, then the conservatorship should be over. Or at a certain point, when she's done a medical check, a mental health check, at that point you are no longer needed as a conservator. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, that's what I mean by limitations.
there should be
How
an
do you
endpoint.
create a law? Yeah, how you find with the law, and how you find with implementing a law that doesn't have a cutoff? Because then
But
it just seems like a willy-nilly thing.
what she also said was that they manipulate their way around it. So they will make her go to a therapist every day, and she'll be so ragged from that it would seem as if she's not in a good state of mind. So it's like the way that they manipulate. The thing is, like, once you have money and power, and I mean, and what makes it worse is her money and her power. There's a lot you can do.
And it's a father, dude. Yo.
Mm. So yeah, so
The white
that's so
racist.
we should be watching the Free Britney movement, because that is hectic. And I mean, like, I've loved Britney since I was freaking. I mean, I'm sure we all have 8. Like, that was my
Yeah,
first CD that I own. I still
yeah.
have
You
it.
even had a perfume, Karen.
Yeah,
I was so jealous. It gave
I
me a headache, but you had a
yeah,
perfume.
I had both of them, Curious and
Yeah,
Fantasy. Oh, the Fantasy one I love. I love that
I
perfume.
remember. You'd walk into class, I'd be like, Britney Spears?
Oh, I love the gosh. I love her. I do still love her. Uh, I mean, I hope it all works out for her.
Yeah.
Another thing I really want to chat about um, was there's going to be a Pink Ladies prequel, guys. I love the Pink Ladies. I love Grease.
Yeah.
And so this new prequel is like them before the events of Grease, so before Sandy gets there. So they're like these 4 outcasts, like girls, and how they form their little groupie. at
Okay.
Rydale High, and and so yeah, I'm quite excited. Like I think it's so quite cute.
I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, Greece is a vibe, it's a movement, it's a
Uh,
time. But I don't know that I really want to watch another all white cast in the 50s,
mm.
school teenagers living their life in Merca. Like, do you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But do you
I'm
think they'll make
struggling
it
to
all
think how
white?
they would make it relevant.
Do you
If
think
that
they'll
makes
make it
sense.
all
Yeah.
white? I don't think.
I think they will. Just to like stick to the, you know.
I don't know. I feel like if they do, it's going to be pure tokenism.
Mm.
Like that you're seeing it a lot with reboots now. All of a sudden, there's like a random POC character, but whether or not there's any depth or proper
Yeah.
thought into it is, yeah, something else.
I'm not usually a big fan of prequels because I don't like when I know what the ending is going to be. So I'm not. But this I'm kind of into. I'm like, oh, I want to see these girls before.
I mean,
Like,
listen, I love Rizzo. I'm here for more Rizzo. Like, I think
Yeah.
that would be a really cool plot line to explore. It's just like it feels so far removed from when it happened and when Greece was a thing. Like, why now all of a sudden? I don't know. That's just me.
But at the same time, it's nice to always just, the characters are so well known. They're so,
Mm.
what's it called, in the,
yeah, that's right.
I don't know, in the zeitgeist, in the minds of people, that like, I think
Gotcha.
regardless of age, it's still it's a story about
Mm.
friendship,
So
you
this
know.
is going to sound weird, but I was chatting to Rebecca about this earlier, and I was saying what's weird about it is so they were super fans of Greece, and there are all these fan theories, and I'm very interested to know how the prequels impact the fan theories because I know there was also going to be a prequel movie called Summer Lovin'
It's still
that was
coming
going
out.
to be made, and but the theory of like Greece is Sandy's dead.
Oh my god.
What?
Do you know
Quite
the fan theory? The fan
No,
theory
tell me
is
about
like
it.
so the fan theory is that Sandy actually drowned on the beach, and so all of Greek is her coming to terms with the fact that she needs to move to the afterlife, and that's why
Oh
the
my
car
god.
flies at the end.
But like, that's a very boring way to move to the to the afterlife. I don't want to have to go to school in my purgatory.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't understand
Go
it.
to
I'm just telling
lessons.
you the weird theories I heard of, and so I find it fascinating because I'm like, oh, these people are now going to have to like change their canon and their theories because of the prequels.
Oh, because Sandy's essentially not involved
Mm.
in this bit. So how
Oh
do the
well,
pink
maybe
lady?
not. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I was never a big Sandy fan, so I'm like, I'm cool with that. I feel like the other characters are richer enough that we don't need a Sandy. Like I'm
Yeah.
not as interested in Summer Loving. I'm like, I don't care about this. But I want the Pink Ladies. I really like the Carrie Diaries, the prequel to Sex and the City. Like I found that
Mm.
so fun. I love the kind of teen version of it, how she met the four ladies or whatever. And so like for me I'm kind of interested in that, like how they form the Pink Ladies, but less interested in seeing Danny and Sandy again. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care what happened to you guys, I'm sorry. I don't.
I'm here for the gal power.
Yeah, I'm here for the gal pals. um but yeah, this when we come back we have a great chat with Kim Engelbrecht, who is
What?
starring. Yes.
Finally!
Yeah,
So,
gosh.
Karen, tell us how it feels to have achieved your lifelong goal of interviewing Kim Engelbrecht after only
I love
2
how
years
Leanne asked that question.
long.
Yeah. Leanne's she's got a fake mic in front of her face now when she asked that
Tell us how it
question.
feels, Karen.
Oh my gosh, it feels amazing. No, Kim was really lovely. She's extremely down to earth. Like, I mean, most of the people we've interviewed have been extremely down to earth.
Mm.
But she was really lovely, and she's really excited for Reyka. Like, it's you can. I haven't seen it yet, but it seems like with those British crime dramas, like Broadchurch type vibes,
Mm.
and it seems like that's what it's like sort of based on, and it seems quite interesting, and she's very interested in it. So it was
Yeah.
amazing to chat to someone like that is really passionate about what they do. um
Yeah.
But obviously I was really nervous, and before the time, and I had to pep talk myself because I was like, this is what if I mess this up? And even tweeted, I'm like, I'm gonna mess this up because I've been wanting this for so long. And she was just like, "Hey girl, what up?" And I'm like, but also as I was listening to the interview again, like you can hear how comfortable I start getting by like how my accent starts dropping. Like in the beginning, I'm like, "Hello, how are you?" And in the end, I'm like, "Yeah, okay, so that's what I."
Oh my God, that's fascinating.
In the beginning, I sounded like a newsboy in like London in the early
Yeah,
1800s.
sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hey, sir,
I love a twist
can I interest
character.
you
Yeah.
in? And then by the end, it's just like, yeah, okay. But also, she also understood my love for Ben Barnes, which, guys, she was like, I asked her, like, who's your celebrity crush? And then she's
Is
like,
this
who's
all you
yours?
need to
And I'm
buy
like, do you know
people?
Ben Barnes? Yeah, I was like, do you know Ben Barnes? And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, of course. Watch his videos of him singing on
Yeah.
Instagram. And I'm like, girl.
Immediate bond.
Yeah.
Immediate besties.
Here's our chat with Kim Engelbrecht.
Everyone has something that haunts them. But for some, it's the ghosts that make them brilliant.
He's a ghost. Reyka, don't let him haunt you.
This is Reyka Gama, KwaZulu-Natal Police. I would like to officially confirm that the Canefield murders is a serial killer.
My love, I made you. I know how you do it. I know you can't stop.
I could tell you things. Things you've forgotten. Things
I know you want to hear.
Recording in progress.
Do you find American accents easy?
No. I think it's all tough. I think anything that you really want to be good at is going to be tough because you want to be good.
Yeah.
So you want to stand out or do it really well, or if it's important.
But I just think you slipped so quickly into that accent. I was like, okay.
Because I've just heard it now. I've just heard it now. So.
So how are you? Like, how has things been for you?
In terms of everything, I think it's a tough time in the world, and I think you just need to. I'm sure you're watching the news.
Are you in South Africa now?
I'm in South Africa now. Yeah, I'm doing a TV show called Raised by Wolves at the moment. So I'm in production at the moment. I finished production on Reyka on the 22nd of Feb. On the 23rd of Feb, I started on this production.
Sure.
So
but you've been having a busy year. I've just been hearing you've been busy with this and that, even throughout COVID. How's it been?
I think I've been really lucky. I think everybody during this time, instead of just sitting at home, we want to work, so you want to be of service. You want to, especially as a creative, you want to work.
Yeah.
And especially our industry has been, shut down, especially live events. That must be very tough for people, and, theater and all kinds of performers. Your life has kind of been on a standstill. So I'm very lucky that I'm able to work. Reyka also just came out of nowhere. I auditioned for the show in 2018, and then it made a reappearance in 2020. While the world was in the middle of a pandemic, and I've been able to work, and on a really, really dope project. Lucky.
Yes, tell us about Reyka. What is it about for the listeners?
Reyka is about a criminal profiler on the hunt for a brutal serial killer in the cane fields of KwaZulu-Natal. So that's where the story is where it's located. But it's not only an investigative piece, it's also a story about a female trying to deal with her past burdens. When she was 12 years old, she was taken and held captive by a banana farmer, in KwaZulu-Natal. And she was kept by him for a number of years, and the story is her post all of this as an adult, trying to have a normal life, trying to figure out what her job is. Obviously, her job is to investigate murders, but on the backdrop of that, she's also trying to investigate her past and trying to navigate life, as she knows it now. So it's a kind of very tumultuous story, and and you as a viewer, you get to feel the pulse of Reyka and how she negotiates her life. The story is about her and her mom, who she was with when she was 12 years old, and then she was taken. Her trying to figure out that resentment that she has for her mother for losing her and letting this happen to her. So it's that. And then as you meet Reyka a little bit later on, you see that she has a daughter. So in this time, she had a daughter, and her trying to have a relationship with a daughter who is the same age as she was when she was taken. And this weird stifling relationship she has with the daughter, because it's very unhealthy. And then also her being in KwaZulu-Natal, Speelman is making a reappearance in her life, who was the banana farmer that took her, and how she kind of weasels her way into being around him again. This strange relationship that she's had with this person it's kind of been like a pull and a draw and an obsession for her, which is highly unhealthy, and it really makes her feel a lot of shame, because everybody knows what she's gone through. Everybody at the department, everybody in the police knows who Reyka is, what happened to her. There's a highly publicized story when she was 12, and then 13, 14, 15, 16, and then her being released was a story everybody knows. So it's her trying to have a normal life, and everybody knows the past, and trying to be a strong member of community and to be of service as a cop. And then also just trying to be a woman and trying to deal with all of these weird things that has happened to her. So it's her on the precipice of starting a new beginning in her life, wanting to start over, trying to fix everything, trying to fix her relationships, just trying to sort things out. And then there's this other side of her that just has this yearning and this need and this obsession to want to go back in her past and figure things out. And this natural curiosity that she has, which I think also just makes her feel very ashamed. And that's the very interesting thing about Reyka, is that she's kind of ashamed of who she is and this weird love that she has for the person that took her. Yeah.
So what attracted you to this? So
all of this, Aaron, like all of it, like all this whole story. Like you often get a script and it's one thing, and it's one person existing in one world. This is Reyka trying to exist in multiple worlds, as we do as human beings. We are not just one thing, we are multifaceted. And then on top of that, she's a female, and she still wants to be beautiful and liked and accessible, and her trying to be on the inside of certain things, even having like a normal friendship. She's kind of just a strange, awkward human being. And then she's also highly intelligent. She is a master of her craft. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's been studying this. She studied this abroad. She studied this in South Africa. She's on the highest level in terms of her career, and she fails as a human being. She fails in the world. She can't even have a conversation with a child.
So, and working with the rest of the cast, like, what was that like?
I mean, there are just so many lovely people that I can mention in the show. I've actually got everybody's names like right in front of me. it's important that everybody gets, because they're just such incredible performers. You've got Iain Glen, obviously, who plays Speelman. You have Annemart van der Merwe, who plays Elsa, who's Reyka's mom. You've got Hector, who's played by Hamilton Dlamini, who's the brigadier, the head of the station. Then you've got Thanda Tabete, who plays Nandi, who's like a A-type cop who does the right thing. You have Portia, who's played by Nokuthula Ledwaba. Everybody knows her. She's incredible. And then you have the rest of her team, in her detective force. Samuel Sosanka and Tana, played by Gerald Stein, Leander Reddy, who everybody knows, and Samuel, who is played by Mabuza Somalani. And then there are other characters also that make their way into the story. You've got Desmond Dube, who is incredible in his role. Kenneth Nkosi is marvelous. Ian Roberts, who is the head of another storyline in the show. His wife is played by Fiona Ramsey. And then also we have...
God, this is stacked. My gosh.
Yeah, Jessica Haynes. Just like wonderful actors. And then you've got the young team of actors as well in the show. There's young Reyka, and then there's also Thuli. So just an amalgamation of just wonderful people. Each one of these people can have their own show. Let's be honest. Then you're working with Iain Glen, the wonderful Iain Glen. All the way from Game of Thrones. In all of his splendor, comes and does the show. And just kills it. Like, he loves this character. No one else could play it the way that he's played it. Just the amount of empathy and just relatability that he brings, to Speelman is incredible. And there are other characters as well that you're going to meet. Kylie to Anthony Soda, who you meet in the first episode, and there are other characters as well. And this in itself is it's an investigation piece. It's an investigative piece. So that everybody in the show is important.
Yeah.
It's also that. It's her trying to figure out the mystery. And trying to find a killer, because every second counts. Every second counts for her,
So the role seems like very deep there, and like obviously a lot to do with trauma. So how difficult was it leaving it behind? Because I can imagine how much that must have played the prep for the role, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think I've been very lucky that, like we said, the world is at a standstill. So it's almost like your brain gets to calm down a little bit, and you can think only of the work. And Rowan Dixon, our writer, Serena Cullen, our producer. You've got Harriet from the head of Quizzical Productions. You've got all these wonderful people that are there for you. And then our directors, Cian Thuli and Catherine Cook, there for you every step of the way. They love the material. They know exactly who the characters are. They help you mold and make this character good. And Serena Cullen, the producer, who has been trying to make the show for many years, I think that Rowan wrote this piece probably 15 years ago, and then I think 12 years ago it made it resurfaced again, and then he carried on trying to make it happen. Obviously with different drafts. As time went on, everybody was very invested, and everybody knew the material, and they were open, and everybody had their own analogies of who Reyka was. Everybody had a story Bible of what she was about. And the wonderful thing about, if you have a multifaceted character, everybody that she comes in contact with in the show becomes multi-layered as well. Nobody's one-dimensional in the show. Everybody has a little bit of a past, and everybody's so interesting. They're so interesting to watch. And it was very interesting for me to work with them too, because I would also just be taken in by great performances. You can see people when you're acting with somebody and you're like, oh, wow, they're just giving it everything. They just killed that scene, and you can just feel it. I think Jack Devnaran is also in the show, and he was with me on Isadingo, and just me watching him and seeing him in a different location, in a different atmosphere, and him playing a different character. That was also really cool for me. So I'm working with my peers, people that I love and admire, and then new people that I've also met along the way, and I really admire their work, and yeah, and I loved it. I guess.
So you've been acting since you were like 12. I've heard.
Yeah.
So like, was this always the plan for you? Or like, no, as a kid, you were like, this, I want to be an actor, or is this something that you sort of like fell into?
I think my past is like pretty modest, and your upbringing is pretty modest. It's not like, oh my God, I want to be a star. No, I think I wanted to be a PT teacher or like a physio, then a little bit later. And then I realized that maybe I don't, I don't know, maybe the pull wasn't strong enough, because I think if you want to do anything, you can. If you just, whatever you put your intention and your focus on, as we've learned as we get older, you realize that you can actually do anything you want. Just comes with focus. And also just deciding. But I think when you're young, I don't think you really think like that. You kind of just like, oh, I don't know, whatever. So it wasn't really a focus for me. I just kind of fell into it. And I think I've had a lot of support, I think, from my mom, from my brother, in terms of like driving me places that I needed to go, like auditions or try out this, or Kim's doing this now. She's doing waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to try and get you places, because there's only one car at home. So, and everybody must still go to work and you want to go, like any family, and they work around the kids, but I think most of the push comes from the child. I think this is one of those industries where the push needs to come from the child. I think, so whether they kind of pushing you in a direction, or it's got to come from you, and
so when were you like, okay, this is it, this is the career for me, I'm enjoying this?
I don't think I'm even there. I mean, some people still ask me, like, what else do you do? Oh, this is all I do. This is just this. Like,
what else do you do? What?
No, what else do you do? Nothing. I think I'm very lucky. I'm lucky to be able to make a career out of this.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I'm able to sustain myself with acting. And this was one of the first projects that I actually had a lot of time to dedicate to a character, Somebody asked me earlier, they asked me about kind of like I kept myself a little bit separate from the rest of the cast and the crew, while preparing for this, because there was a lot of time. And and it was an experiment as well for me to take my craft seriously. And I hope it's kind of like a gift to be given time. I often don't have a lot of time. I'm from the soapy world.
Yeah.
So that you've got to like arrive, you do makeup for 5 seconds, and then then you're in the hair chair, then you're in the makeup chair, then you're going over lines, and then you're shooting something. And sometimes I remember within the soapy feel, something current would happen on the day, and they're like, okay, here's yellow pages, and you have to learn this like in seconds, and then we're shooting this by the end of the by the end of the afternoon. And you kind of like, and it's a system that South Africa is very good at, the soapy world. We're very good at making,
and I think that's
very good at it.
The joy of like this limited series thing, like it's longer than a movie, but it's short enough that you can focus only on that, on that space. So it's amazing that that South Africa's moving in that direction now and doing more of that.
But it also builds the soapy world, and the short form builds a hardworking kind of like go-getter kind of actor, and that same actor is going to be put on a different set, on an international set, or on this longer form like you were talking about, and they'll do well. They'll do well because they can work in any medium.
Actually, it's so weird because I just spoke to like Nico Benaggio, and I just spoke to Neil Sanderlands, and they said exactly the same thing as you. They're like, South African soapy like trains you for the world. Like
it does. It humbles you, and it's fun. And you get to work with like your friends every day. And it's a safe space. And and the South African audiences, they love it. They love, and it's nice when you get to feel the love, and it's nice. It's like you're part of something,
You feel like you're always going to be known as Lolly.
Oh, it's fine.
But like, we were asking like on Twitter and stuff like that, like the first time people felt like represented on TV, and like majority of colored girls said, like either on Take 5 or Lolly or one of those shows. Like, how do you feel about that? I feel like it's a big burden to put on somebody.
No, not at all. I mean, I've been lucky. And it's so funny because I don't think you go out trying to represent anything. You just come of yourself, and it's not of my own doing, Lolly, and was written for me. This is also a brainchild of a great team of writers, that don't just make up a character. They sit and they think up something. They think up a storyline. They think up a world. So you're kind of part of a big collective. You just happen to be the actor that's talking that character at the time. So it's that. And then also I was very lucky to start my career on a show called Take 5 on on SABC, if I'm okay to mention that. On that show, where it was a youth development show, and it was about the world and South Africa and getting to meet people and getting to interview people and actually being trained how to ask questions and how to be genuinely interested in just people and having a natural curiosity for who people are and where they're from and and what South Africa is. I've been really lucky that I haven't really microwaved myself. I've had a chance to kind of like slowly develop in this industry, and this industry has been very kind to me. They've allowed me to do film, TV, theater. I've been lucky. I've been lucky that I'm able to. I'm busy reading this book called The Artist's Way, and you just want to figure out different sides of yourself as a creative, where you, unfortunately, you might be stuck in a job that you don't enjoy. I have the ability to express, myself and different sides of myself, and the audience in South Africa or whoever audience I'm playing to is kind enough for me to do that.
So we've also seen like a major shift in the industry in South Africa where colored people are getting a lot more media roles. I know that you've been established for a long time, but is this something that you've noticed as well?
I think that just storytelling has changed. Storytelling is different, and it's more about the human experience rather than just a different area of South Africa. You know what I mean? Because we are moving away from that. We are a South Africa, right? We are an inclusive South Africa, and especially what's happening in the world at the moment, and also what's happening in South Africa. People need to be seen, and people need to be heard. And a story is a story because it's a human story. Everybody falls in love. Everybody has heartbreak. Everybody has a dream, and everybody has a goal. And those are the stories that must be told, We just happen to be located in, you know what I mean? I am South African. So therefore my story is South African. But it's still a human story, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a wonderful thing that Reyka touches on. Reyka touches on somebody that feels that they partial, and somebody, her mom is Afrikaans, she describes in the show, and her dad is colored. So she's this mixed person in KwaZulu-Natal that has grown up in South Africa, but then studied abroad and then come back. She, you know what I mean? She has a daughter that's South African, and then she's got a mom that's kind of displaced, and she's got this past. So that in itself makes her a little bit of an outsider, feeling that she's part of something, but also on the outside.
Oh, that's
it could even be a metaphor for what South Africa is at the moment. We're not just one thing, we're many things. But the lovely thing about Reyka is that she shows what her flaws are. She doesn't hide away from it, She knows enough to know exactly who she is, because like I was explaining to you, she's studied this, she studies behavior. She knows who people are. She knows she's a PhD student, so she understands the the educated view on certain things. But sometimes things are not always explained by education or whatever. Sometimes certain things are irrational. They just felt in the heart and they're unexplainable. I don't know if I'm answering your question. I'm saying a lot of things.
But I just wanted to ask you, like you said some time. So I'm a big fan of The Flash. So I have to ask you, what was that experience like? I mean, it was surreal for me, like obviously being a fan of you since I was a child, and then seeing you on the show that I love so much, like hanging out with Candice Patton and just, doing amazingly. So what was that experience like?
Incredible. I mean, I remember auditioning for it, and then like 5 seconds later I had it, and then next moment I was trying to figure out how I was going to get to Vancouver, and then getting my visa and realizing that I was going to work. I become in when it comes to exciting things, I tend to react in the opposite way. So sometimes when things are really exciting, I just go really quiet and chilled, and so that's basically how I am when I got there. The sets were marvelous. Candice was incredible. She's lovely, and so is Grant. Everybody, he is the Flash. He is that kind, generous soul, and the same with Candice, just so gracious, and they really are amazing. I have no idea they have no idea how huge this star is. I don't even think and just the humility that they show for people is just insane. And just having the opportunity to work there, and then I obviously worked with Neil as well.
Yeah, perfect. It was like every South African soapy watcher's dream, like seeing the two of you together on that show.
Yeah, and I mean, he's gone on to do incredible things, and I continue to watch his rise as well. But it was a really cool experience, just to be able to work on a big set and work with, you're on The Flash, and yeah, but it just made me hungry. It made me hungry for more experiences, and I would have loved to stay on that show a little bit longer. As I would have loved to stay on Esadingo a little bit longer, as you just want to stay on everything a little bit longer, I love every experience that I'm in when I'm in it, and then it's the nature of of the way that we work, where you do a short stint on something and then you move on to the next thing, and some people like staying places for longer, but it's just a different kind of different strokes, I guess, and sometimes the work or the job comes to an end, and then you move into the next thing.
Okay, so this is the question we ask everybody, but who is your first celebrity crush?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That was so quick. You had that at the tip of your tongue.
The truth, I had a poster of him. I did. I watched all of his stuff. I just thought he was cool. He had muscles and he could do the splits, and he could fight, and he was an action hero. I think that's what I enjoyed. Yeah. Now I think it's a little bit different. I like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Colin Firth.
Okay, no. That I understand completely. Colin Firth will forever be my favorite. I can't.
Really?
Can't deal. That man could be 100 years old and I would still be any day.
Yeah, Harrison Ford.
Yeah, him too.
Yeah, just you know what I mean? I can't still fight for Brad, but everybody wants him. I can't still fight for the other ones. So just I think
Colin Firth, yes, definitely. Any day. But I'm gonna manifest that you get to work with Benedict, or
I'm being like an idiot. And who's your crush?
Mine. I don't know. Ben Barnes. You know Ben Barnes?
Yeah, I think he's
Bimba.
cool.
Oh my gosh.
Follow him on Instagram, obviously, and listen
Yeah,
to
of
him
course. His songs.
singing. And he also transforms really nicely. I love how he just becomes different characters, and you won't expect it from him. You know what I mean?
And he does, like, he can look like the nicest guy ever, but when he like turns into that villain, you're like who is this? Oh, he's my number one. Like,
really? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's very charming. He's very charming. So that's your vibe. Yeah, he's very charming, very dapper, and yeah, he just seems like an all-round nice guy, I guess.
yeah. But I also like Colin Firth. Like that, he's Mr. Darcy vibes is very much that same kind of like British. All of them all my crushes have that sort of like Britishish vibe about them.
Like there's something unique about them, right?
Yeah. Kim, thank you so much.
I hope I answered all of your questions.
No, you did. It was perfect. This was better than I could have even imagined. Like, thank you so much. That was our interview with Kim Engelbrecht. Don't forget to watch Reyka, which star? Reyka, I don't know. Like before the interview, I asked, I was like, how do I pronounce this? And she was like, Reyka, doesn't matter as long as you watch the show. So for me, I don't know. Reyka, Reyka, starts Sunday, the 25th of July at 8 p.m. on Mnet, which is DStv channel 101. And now we're going to hear from you guys. So we asked you to send in a voice note telling us about a movie that you watched recently that you enjoyed. And we got a few and some really great ones. Actually, all of them are great. I'm lying to you. So we're going to hear from Lindy Johnson and Stephen Phillipson, who were previous guests on the show, as well as Marissa Calvert and Micah Matheson, who is 12 years old and so adorable. So here they are.
Hey Karen, big fan of the podcast. A movie I watched recently that I really enjoyed was Good on Paper. It's on Netflix. I really enjoyed it. The woman is a stand-up comedian. The man lies. It was very relatable to me, and I highly recommend.
A movie I watched recently that I really enjoyed was The Dead Don't Die, which is a really weird zombie movie. Is it weird? Yes. Does it make sense? No. Does it have Tilda Swinton walking around the streets cutting zombies down with a samurai sword? Also yes, and lots of like Bill Murray and Adam Driver just talking randomly about how much of the script they've seen. It was awesome. Super weird, but really cool.
Hey, Crashing On fam, it's Reese. Not sure if I'm too late with my voice notes. But I'm not a movie person, but I've actually watched Keeping Up with the Kandasamis. And, for a South African movie, it is actually so fun. It's not stressful. My anxiety levels are not through the roof. I just absolutely enjoyed it because it was light comedy and there were parts where I completely breathed myself. But it was just so wholesome in the end. And I'm catching the second one tonight, the wedding, because I've already watched the last one, which was on Netflix. So yeah, that is me in a movie nutshell. Ooh, forgot. I've also only just started watching Harry Potter and really enjoying it. It's magic. I can't believe that I waited so long to watch Harry Potter, because back in the day I thought only nerds watch Harry Potter. I am the nerd because I'm the only loser who did not watch Harry Potter. And I started watching it with my son. He's 4.5, and we're absolutely loving it. And I can understand the hype, and it just transcends you into a magical, different world. And I appreciate that.
Hi guys, this is my movie review for the movie Inception. My dad recommended it to me. He said it was the best movie he's ever watched. So I also wanted to watch it and judge his statement. So my name is Micah Matheson and I love movies. The plot was amazing. I really loved how everything was tied together, and I loved how they explained how dreams work and the action, the high stakes. The cinematography was amazing. Like I don't want to spoil anything in case you guys haven't watched it yet, but like there were these scenes where it felt so real. The CGI was I loved it. I really loved the movie. The acting was great, and I watched the director's movies, Christopher Nolan. So I watched his previous movies, and I liked how he incorporated his old actors. And my overall rating is like a 10 out of 10. The movie was perfect. Thank you for your time.
For the next episode, we want you to send us a voice note telling us about your favorite rom-com. It can be a new one, it can be an old one, but share it with us by sending us a voice note on WhatsApp at +27 78 362 2566. We will link it, put it in the show notes as well so that you don't forget. It'll be so much fun. It's also my birthday in the next episode, and I love rom-com. So if you can tell me, if you can tell me which ones to watch, I would really appreciate it. Okay, guys, time for our favorite segment of the week.
What are you crushing on?
I didn't realize we were doing this. I completely forgot. It's been such a long time. I'm like, are we still doing this? Okay, cool. Okay, what have I been watching? Okay.
Talking about rom-coms, yesterday I watched Broken Hearts Gallery on Netflix, and it is so cool. It doesn't quite go the way you think it's going to go, but it is very predictable, but it's done really well. I'm also just really excited because it featured Dacre Montgomery, who is like the baddie in Stranger Things, and I'm happy I got to see him in like a happy role, because when you watch someone and then like that becomes how you know them, and then I was scared I would never like him because all I would ever picture is the delinquent in Stranger Things, but now he's like a romantic lead, and so that's cool.
And he's very cute.
Fake Zephron.
I haven't actually been watching anything. But what I have been keeping up to, I haven't. But what I have been keeping up with the news of the Anthony Bourdain documentary, and how they, especially the specific part about how they've used AI to recreate part of an email, and how it's like there was like this whole debate on the ethics of it, which I find, it's cool. It's his story. He's a quite a character, but the topic of that ethical, the whole debate has been keeping me interested.
It is quite hectic. Well, for me, I'm the opposite of you. I've just been like watching everything. But and it was actually very hard to choose which one to pick. But I'm gonna go with freaking season 2 of Never Ever Ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, your tweets.
You guys know that I have like a very strict watching schedule, and when something comes out, it usually goes to the back of the queue. Like I'm like, I'll watch that when I get to it. I'm gonna watch these others that came before, that's been standing in the Sasa line long before you. And like, but Never Ever season 2 came out, I'm like, guys, I can't watch anything else. Yeah. And like, I watched it all in one day, and I loved it. I felt like, if possible, better than season 1. Like all the criticisms from season 1, I feel like they took that and they made the show even better. Nice. The characters had more depth. It was so freaking funny. Like, I wish I could just hang out in the writer's room to just think, to see how they think, because I laughed out loud so many times. And it had so much heart. Like, I was crying, I was laughing, and it was just such a good time, and it makes me so happy. And like, immediately after watching it, I missed it. I was like, I feel like watching it again. That's how much I enjoyed it. And I don't know when last I watched something like that. Like, I enjoy a lot of stuff that I watch, but I don't know when last I'm like, I immediately want to watch it again. And no, can't deal. Never Ever Ever season 2, brilliant.
Amazing. I've only seen the first like 2 episodes. I'm trying to like space out my watching, because I normally we just binge stuff and then you're like, damn it. So I'm trying to like pace myself with the stuff that's coming. I'm doing a lot of movies, so we're kind of trying to keep series for the week, and then on weekends we tend to do like a lot of movies. So I watched Fighting with My Family, which was really, really cool, and then Broken Hearts Gallery, which was amazing.
So guys, thank you so much. It's so great to be back. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time again when we chat to another amazing person. We discuss what's been happening in pop culture, locally and internationally. Yeah, you can find, like, do you guys want to say where they can find you online?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
You can watch my wine diaries on Instagram. Like, that's all I do is
Oh,
wine.
interesting.
While you wait, me you can find at Karen Welby on Instagram, at Karen Welbys with an S on Twitter, and sign up for my newsletter, Wilder Streams, at wilderstreams.substack.com. The podcast can be found at Crushing On Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, at What's IGN Crushing On YouTube. You can find more information about this and all our other episodes at our website, crushingonpodcast.com, and send any feedback to mail@crushingonpodcast.com. Send us voice notes to +27 78 362 2566 on WhatsApp. Join our Facebook group, Crushing On Club, where we chat about the show, celebrity news, recommendations, the whole shebang. The show is produced by us and edited and engineered by Rebecca Barches. All admin is done by Leanne Phillipson. Our logo was designed by Nathifa Maroof, and the show was created in partnership with IGN Africa. If you like the show, tell everyone that you can, any way that you can. Keep up to date with all our episodes by subscribing to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And please rate and review the episodes on Apple Podcasts, as it helps others find the show. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time with another in-depth conversation with a pop culture lover. See you then. The podcast can be found at Crushing On Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find more information about this and all our other episodes at our website, crushingonpodcast.com, and send any feedback to crushingonpod@gmail.com. Join our Facebook group, Crushing On Club, where we chat about the show, celebrity news, recommendations, the whole shebang. Let us know what you think about what was discussed in this week's episode by sending us a voice note or email to crushingonpod@gmail.com. The show is produced by me, Karen, and Rebecca Barches. The show is edited and engineered by Rebecca Barches. Our logo was designed by Nathifa Maroof. And the show was created in partnership with IGN Africa. If you like the show, tell everyone that you can, any way that you can. Keep up to date with all our episodes by subscribing to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And please rate and review the episodes on Apple Podcasts, as it helps others find the show. We'll be back next week with another in-depth conversation with a pop culture lover. See you then!